The series kicks off with a special ops soldier named Jian. Jian is somewhat one of the most lethal and overpowered soldiers out there. Any mission he drops into, he wipes out all the enemies. His whole life is just catching bodies and gunfights, and his girl Selma is the only soft and wholesome thing in his brutal life. She works as a translator, and Jian tells her, "I'm heading back to Korea soon, and I want you to come with me so we can get married and live together." He gives her this dog tag instead of a ring, since he obviously cannot cooperate out in the desert. Selma is hyped and agrees to marry him. Then she takes off her makeup and shows him her face, and he falls even harder for her when he sees how gorgeous she is, because all this time he was catching feelings without even seeing her. But then a certain day comes and everything flips. A Korean minister Ning Park pulls up to the camp to buy a weapons shipment for Riyam, an Iraqi mobster, and Salma is the one translating for them. Was the arms deal is locked in. Park orders his goons to take out Salma because he wants to keep everything strictly on the down low. For his business, his guys actually snatch Salma, and Jian runs after them like a madman but cannot catch up. He spots Park laughing, and then he is hit with the sight of Salma dead right in for real out of him. Jian is totally traumatized by the scene. He sees her body, breaks down crying and screams. Suddenly someone knocks him out cold. When he wakes up, he finds a gun in his hand, and the Iraqi cops arrest him for Salma's murder. Turns out Jian's squad completely ghosted him and for real on him for killing Salma just to get rid of him. Since he loved her, there's no way he would just let her death slide, but Jian manages to escape the Iraqi police. Right now he is chilling in Turkey, obsessed with getting payback for his girl. He's walking down the street and some guys start pressing him. But he's not trying to get into any beef, so he just walks away. Meanwhile, we meet a Korean girl named Rhea. She's been locked up since childhood thanks to her evil stepmom. But she manages to break out and hits the streets running for real and guys who are chasing her. Then she runs into the subway and literally bumps into Jian by accident. He notices she is terrified of something, and she is shocked to see that Jian is Korean just like her. She begs him and asks for help, but since Jian is not trying to deal with any drama, he completely curses her and walks off. She even tried to kiss his feet. When she sees the guy who wants to kidnap her getting closer, she bolts and goes to hide. But eventually the guy catches her. Then Jian steps in and tells Rhea to run, and he squares up with the guy. Jian's combat skills are seriously top tier, and he hits him with a fast combo, takes him to the ground and chokes him out. When he checks the guy's head, he realizes the dude is a cop. Jian starts tweaking and dips out of there fast, but then he runs into Rhea again. She asks him to take her to Korea, saying, "My dad is super rich and lives there and he will drop a huge bag on you." But Jian is heated that she made him assault the cop and tells her to back off. Some cops pass by and get suspicious that something sketchy is going on. Jian tells her to run, and the cops pull their guns to question him. So Jian had zero choice but to deal with them and take them down. Rhea makes a run for it. After Jian steps out of the subway station, he sees that Rhea got kidnapped. She keeps banging on the window begging Jian for help. The guy standing by the car tells Jian to mind his own business, flashing his police badge, so Jian is forced to back down. He grabs a cab and heads to the airport because he is going back to Korea. Fast forward 6 months, Jian is living solo, keeping things super somewhat and working in repair and interior decor. One day his boss hits him up and tells him to go fix a billboard. Jian agrees and pulls up in his truck. He heads into the building, but the security guard stops him and asks for his ID, which Jian totally forgot. The cleaning lady steps in and tells the guard that Jian is here to fix Mr. Jan's banner. If Mr. Jan finds out you turn Jian away, he is going to be super pissed. The guard rethinks it and lets Jian inside the building. Jian thanks the cleaning lady, then he hooks himself up to the building and starts fixing Jan's picture. Turns out Jan is inside the exact same building with his side chick Oh, and Jang is running for president of Korea. Jan was totally clueless that his mistress slipped a sleeping pill into his drink. His attention gets caught by a TV interview with his wife. Choi Choi is talking so calmly, eloquently, and acting super humble. Acting like she is ready to be Korea's first lady, Jan chugs his whole drink. And just as he is about to get busy with his side chick, he spots Jin right outside fixing the billboard. He tells his mistress to shut the blinds. Suddenly he starts feeling dizzy and realizes she spiked his drink while closing the blinds. Right after, some mercs pull up to the building's garage, walk in, and start beating down Jan's guards. They're built different and take out Jan's guys with zero effort. Turns out they were sent by a rival presidential candidate. They even brought a camera to catch Jan in foul for hooking up with his side chick. For real, and his spot, Jin watches the whole brawl go down. He sees the cleaning lady is in danger and yells at her to run. But suddenly one of the mercs smacks the cleaning lady and drops her to the ground. When Jin sees that, he cannot just stand there and do nothing. He tries to smash the window, but the glass is reinforced and super tough. So he pulls out a screwdriver, hurls it at the glass, and manages to shatter it. He climbs inside and starts throwing hands with the mercs. He completely wipes the floor with them because his combat skills are just on a whole other level. He gets even more triggered when he notices the cleaning lady is not breathing. He unleashes all his rage on them, turning the whole place into absolute chaos. One of Jan's guys manages to hit the panic button, which goes into full lockdown mode completely. When the security guard hears the alarm, he rushes to the security cameras and sees what is going down. He immediately calls for backup. Meanwhile, Jian is taking on over 10 dudes all by himself. Even though he has been out of the game for a minute, his strikes are still brutal and precise. He squares up with this one guard and notices a scar on his hand. Then the cops pull up, so the mercs are forced to dip. Jian rushes over to the cleaning lady and yells at the security guard to call an ambulance. But they only care about checking on Jan first. Eventually the ambulance arrives and takes away the cleaning lady's body. After making sure she is handled, Jian just bounces and leaves the scene. The guards are totally shook that a random billboard repairman could smash through bulletproof glass. Later, Jan calls his wife and tells her to take care of the billboard repair guy and have him killed. Choi says less hangs up and immediately calls one of her hitmen named Gook, ordering him to take out the repairman. Meanwhile, Jian has already headed home and Gook's squad rolls out, making their way to his place. Over 20 armed goons pull up to assassinate him, moving through the dark without making a peep. But Jin's spidey senses tingle and he knows they are there. At the same time, the security guard Sho reviews the security footage and is shook when he spots Jian. He rushes over to Gook and warns him, pull your men back right now before they all get packed up, but Gook does not take him seriously at all. He just laughs it off. Sho tells him that random repair guy turns out he is one of the most elite soldiers ever trained in special ops. Gook still does not feel threatened and flexes, bro, I literally sent an army to kill that repairman and they are my best guys. Then we see Gook's squad infiltrating Jin's house for real. Multiple entry points. Jin pops up right in for real. One of one guy hits him with a combo and snaps his neck. He cuts the power to the whole spot, pulls up on his two dudes and packs them up effortlessly. He is basically teleporting around the house, taking them by surprise like a ghost. He knocks them all out using just his bare hands. No weapons needed. Once he wipes the squad, he just casually dips. Sho pulls up and is super relieved that none of them actually died because Jian held back and did not want to kill anyone. Later, Jian heads home. It turns out he and Choi are not actually in love. Their marriage is strictly a business transaction. Choi's family is backing Jan to become president, and in return Jan is going to help Choi inherit her dad's empire. And plot twist, Rhea, the girl for real earlier, is actually Jan's daughter. Choi tells him your daughter ran away again, but my guys will catch her like always. Jan threatens her, saying if anything happens to Rhea, Our marriage is done. We then see Rhea running through the city streets. She has a flashback to when she was a little kid waiting up and praying for her dad to come home. As soon as possible, she gets super excited when she hears the for real lawn door open, thinking it is him, but she's completely traumatized when she finds her mom's lifeless body on the floor with sleeping pills next to her, and there is some creepy guy standing right behind Rhea. Ever since that day, Choi shipped Rhea off to a convent to be raised by nuns, hoping she would grow up to be a nun and stay far away from Rhea and her dad, but Rhea absolutely hated the vibe there and was constantly running away. Back in the present, she is still running until she suddenly realizes in the middle of the road right in for real line of this car. A famous fashion designer named Paul steps out. He is totally obsessed with Rhea's look, snaps a pic of her and posts it online. Rhea just stands there absolutely terrified because she has massive social anxiety for real and all her childhood trauma. She is for real zen and fear, terrified of the crowd, until a sweet old lady helps her cross the street. Meanwhile, Jian steps off a bus having made it to a completely new city. But he is paranoid about walking past the cops, so he ducks into a bathroom and steals a military officer's uniform. This way he blends right in and nobody suspects a thing. Back to good, he is standing there looking dumb and embarrassed in for real one of Choi. Because his entire squad got clapped by a simple repairman, he promises Choi that he's going to hunt him down and find him. But Choi is stressing that the repairman might leak everything he saw about Jan to a journalist. Cho chimes in and says there's zero chance you catch that guy because I know him personally. His name is Jian, who was one of the best soldiers I ever trained, and the best special ops operative to serve in Iraq. He was discharged because of some beast case. Even if we set 3 squads, they would not be able to catch Jian, and I did not even know he was back in Korea. But Choi is super arrogant and refuses to accept failure on a mission. She orders Gup to track Jian's location, saying I will send pro assassins to pack him up. Cho tries to convince her that it is useless and they would just lose a lot of men. Choi tells him, focus on your own job, it is bad enough you failed to protect Jin last night. After Cho and Gup leave, Choi's assistant tells her that a fashion designer named Paul posted a picture of Rhea online. Paul is super famous and has a massive following. Choi is shook because this means Rhea is going to go viral and her identity and her debts will get exposed. If the press finds out Jan has a secret daughter, it is going to be a huge scandal. His reputation will tank and he might lose the election, which means Choi will not inherit her dad's company. Choi gets a massive headache, especially since the election is so close. She screams at her assistant for not doing her job right and orders her to bring Rhea to her immediately. And sure enough, Choi's goons end up drugging Rhea and flying her back to Korea. Later, Jan speaks with Cho privately. Jan considers Cho the most trustworthy person in his life. Even though he officially works for Choi, he tells him, if I win the election, I will make you the head of my security. You are the only person I trust, but Rhea. Choi is always pressuring me because she's keeping Rhea locked up. So I want you to tell Choi that if anything happens to my daughter, everything she has been trying to build for years will collapse right in for real one of her. Cho tells him, I cannot exactly deliver the message to my boss, but I promise I will protect Rhea no matter what. Meanwhile, Good hacks into all the city's cameras. At this time, Jin is just walking around not knowing where to go and he spots a farmer whose car broke down. Jin decides to fix it for him. After he fixes it, the farmer and his wife insist on hosting Jian at their farm. He stays over for the night and they hook him up with food and drinks, treating him like he is their own son that night while he is sleeping. He has flashbacks to when he was a special ops soldier in Iraq fighting terrorist groups. He wakes up in a panic because those days were literally nightmares. Then he hears the mom crying and finds out for real on the dad that their son died about 50 days ago, which is why she's crying. Since he passed, we have neglected the crops and trees. I just can't keep up with all this farming anymore. Jian feels bad for them and decides to take care of the crops himself, not wanting anything in return. The next morning, Jian has already pruned the plants and killed all the pests. The farmer is super hyped about Jian's help. Because he was totally depressed after his son's death, later they sit down for lunch. And the farmer suggests Jian should stay with them longer. Jian tells him, "Do not tempt me." Because I just might. The mom gives Jian one of her late son's shirts. And then Jian takes the farmer's truck to go buy some supplies for the farm. At the same time, the assassin sent by God pulls up, ties up the farmer and his wife, and demands to know where Jian is. But the farmer refuses to smidge, so the assassin decides to burn them alive and pours gas all over them. Right before he drops the lighter on them, Jian shows up and stops him. The assassin pulls a knife and squares up with Jian. Jian barely dodges the blade, and even though he is a top-tier fighter, he actually struggles a bit with this assassin. They go all out in a brutal fight. Jian manages to knock the knife out of his hand, and for real, and there he completely takes over. He hits the assassin with some heavy strikes, drops him to the ground, and chokes him out with his shirt until he is unconscious. After tying him up, he asks him who sent him, but the assassin refuses to talk. Jian tells him, "I have dealt with plenty of guys like you before," and grabs a hammer to torture him with. The assassin tells him, "You're going to die eventually, if not by me then by someone else. And anyone who tries to help you will die." Jian hits back, "I was supposed to die a long time ago." He asks him again who sent him, and is literally about to smash his hand with the hammer, but the assassin finally folds and starts talking. He reveals that it was Mrs. Choi, so Jian heads straight to her mansion, scopes out the spot, and counts the number of guards. At the same time, Rhea arrives at Choi's place and absolutely loses it when she sees Choi in for real one of her. Choi tells her, "You have grown up, you look just like your mom." Rhea snaps back, "You are an absolute demon. Because of you, my mom is dead and my childhood was ruined." Choi tells her that what happened was actually the best thing for her dad. She orders the maid to take her away right after Jian pulls up to the mansion disguised as a delivery guy. He easily knocks out the two guards, kicks the door in, and surprises Choi, making her drop her glass. She is shocked that it is the billboard repairman, but she does not back down. She tells him, "You're pretty bold. I totally did not expect you to show up here." Jian replies, "I'm just here to warn you. Leave me and the people I care about alone. If you do not listen to me, I will hunt you down and find you. I came here peacefully for our first meeting to give you a warning, but the second time will not be so for real lightly." Choi mocks him, thinking he walked right into her trap. Suddenly her men storm the room, aiming their guns at him. Jian is completely surrounded and cannot make a move. Choi says, "Unfortunately, you saw something you were not supposed to see, so you gotta go." Jian asks her, "Is this how you handle the husband who cheated on you?" Choi replies, "You literally know nothing. I do not even love that man. You seem like a solid, decent guy since you defended that farmer and his wife, even though you just met them yesterday. If we had met under different circumstances, we probably would have been for realians." She then asks him, "Did you tell the farmer and his wife that you caught Jang with his side chick?" Jian says, "I did not say a word," and tells her to leave them alone. Choi tells him, "I feel like you're telling the truth, but sadly I cannot risk my entire future on your word. I have to kill you all." Jian is not having it and steps toward her, so her men aim their guns at him again. She tells him, "You should not have come here to warn me." Then she orders her men to take him away and pack him up. Her goons grab him and throw him in a car in the garage, but right before they take off they hear police sirens. Turns out the cops pulled up because of the motorcycle Jian stole. The two guards get distracted dealing with the cops. Jian takes advantage of the distraction, pours gasoline on his hand, and manages to slip out of the handcuffs. He gets out and completely wrecks the two guards. They barely stand a chance, then more guards rush into the garage. Jian is hiding and jumps them using his lethal combat skills. One guard hits him with a taser. But Jin completely tanks it, grabs the dude and throws him through a car window after he finishes wiping them out. He releases his other hand for Rylan. The cop grabs a gun, heads back into the house and pulls up on Choi, aiming the gun right at her. He tells her this is the second media warned you about and points the gun at her head. She is absolutely terrified. All her arrogance instantly vanishes and she braces for death. Suddenly Rhea walks in and tells him kill her. When he sees her, he remembers she is the girl for real on the subway. He's shocked that fate somehow brought them back together before Jian can ask her anything. The maid steps in and takes Rhea away. Choi's guards show up, so Jian keeps his gun pointed at Choi and orders them to get a car ready for him. Immediately, Choi tells them do what he says. Then she tells Jian, you are not making it out of here alive. Your only way out is to beg for my forgiveness. Jian tells her to shut up before he actually shoots her. He pulls out a phone he hid in the plants when he first walked in and tells her I recorded our entire conversation and I set it up to auto-send to the press and the police in 24 hours. That is why I am telling you, leave me and my people alone. If you kill me, someone else will leak the recording. Choi is done and realizes he completely top-played her. She is left speechless. Jian then microwaves the phone to really it, destroying her last hope of stopping the recording for real leaking. He then orders Choi's assistant Dong-ji to go outside and get the right car ready for him. Jian walks out with Choi, gets in the car with her and forces her to drive while her men follow closely behind in another car. Choi admits I totally underestimated you and I was dead wrong. She tries to negotiate with him, offering him literally any amount of money he wants in exchange for the recording. But Jian knows that if he gives up the recording, she will drop him instantly. Suddenly, two guys on a motorcycle pull up and start chasing them, but they are not Choi's men. They are mercs hired by a rival presidential candidate, and they have got a device controlling Choi's car. Choi realizes the brakes are completely dead because the mercs hacked them. They want Choi to crash and die, so they start making her car accelerate like crazy. Jian pulls out his gun to take them out, but Choi tells him the glass is bulletproof and the windows only roll down if you hold the button for a long time. She completely loses control of the car and pulls off a super dangerous maneuver. Jian tells her to switch seats with him, so he takes the wheel. Choi's men are confused about why they switched, not realizing what is happening. But since he could not figure it out, another idea hits him to speed up the car as much as possible, because the device controlling them only works within a 20-meter range. Once Jian gets far enough away, they will not be able to hack the car anymore. Jian starts driving like a total maniac. He straight up drives on the wrong side of the road to shake the mercs, causing a bunch of accidents. But he literally had no choice. There was no other way to get rid of them. As soon as the road clears up, he hits the gas hard until the signal for real and their device drops. He tells Choi to hold down the window button until the glass rolls down. Once it does, he spins the car around and fires 6 shots at them, but even that misses. Finally, Choi's men realize they have to take out the mercs on the motorcycle, because once the gunshots popped off, they realized the bite was a massive threat to Choi. Jian hits a road under construction and is forced to crash into the barriers because the brakes are shot. When the mercs pull up, Choi's men ram into them, finally taking them out. But Jian cannot stop the cars as the brakes are still dead and their car ends up flipping multiple times for real on the impact. Both of them get super messed up and are bleeding everywhere. Choi passes out and construction workers pull Jian out of the wreckage. The car is on fire and about to explode. Jian is stressing over Choi, fights through the pain and the bleeding and tries to wake her up, but the door is jammed. Choi wakes up and sees Jian trying to save her. Meanwhile, her men think it's too late and that the car is going to blow, so they hold Dong-ji back for real and getting closer. But then they see Jian carrying Choi moving away for real on the flames right before the car explodes. So Choi basically survived thanks to the guy she was trying to kill. A piece of debris for Rylan, the explosion hits Jian in the back. Choi is totally shocked that Jian is still standing. And he does not actually pass out until he hands her over to her men. Choi immediately orders her men to save Jian's life whatever it takes. On the flip side, Jane arrives home when Rhea sees her dad. She is shook and runs into her room. She literally cannot contain her excitement, expecting him to come see her, since they haven't seen each other since she was a little kid. But weirdly enough, Jen tells the maid, "I am exhausted, I just want to go sleep." Rhea feels completely crushed and starts crying. He only did that because he cannot just surprise the press with the secret daughter. Everyone will freak out and assume she is illegitimate, which would totally ruin his reputation and cost him the election. Later, the news covers Choi getting rushed to the hospital, and it is trending everywhere. 2 days later, Jian wakes up in the hospital. Choi is doing fine, but Jian is living in her head rent for really. The doctor comes in to check on her and she immediately asks about Jian. The doctor tells her he's got a few for real accusers, but overall he is good. Honestly, the guy is clearly built different. If a normal person took that kind of damage, they would be paralyzed. Choi feels super relieved knowing Jian is okay, and a smile actually pops up on her face. Then the doctor leaves. Jan thinks they need to pack Jian up because he knows way too much. But Choi tells him, "I am hiring Jian as my personal bodyguard, the person I need to be most careful of. Needs to be right beside me." Then Choi's younger half-brother walks in to check on her, and he tells Choi it is obvious the rival candidate Park is the one behind what happened to you. That guy is pure evil and would do anything to win the presidency. After that, Choi messes up James' hair and loosens his tie so he looks completely wrecked. This way, when Jan goes out to face the press, he looks exhausted. Like he's been up all night sitting by his injured wife's side. He walks out to the reporters and totally acts like he's drained and has a headache. He tells them, "I stayed up all night by my wife's side to take care of her. My heart is broken because she almost died because of me. My enemies are attacking me with terrorist acts against my wife, and I feel like a massive failure as a husband." Choi had awful luck marrying a politician. She sacrificed so much for me because she loves me. Even though I was just a regular guy, she proved she is incredibly brave. But how can I ask her to stay by my side when her life is constantly in danger? And the public actually falls for all his lies. Jan continues, "I am pausing all my political campaigns and drop out of the presidential race just to keep my wife safe." Choi and everyone else are completely stunned by his words. Especially Choi, because she never agreed to any of this. But it turns out this was Jan's master plan all along, just to farm sympathy. And honestly, it works. Everyone starts telling him, "You cannot drop out, we have got your back." Jan tells them, "I will not stay silent. I will fight the people using terror and violence. And I will use all my power to fight evil because that is way more important than winning the presidency of Korea. And I can do that even if I am not the president because I stand with the working class and I will always be by your side." The crowd is super moved by his speech, literally carrying him and chanting his name. So Jan completely milked the attack on his wife to boost his popularity. Choi is genuinely impressed by his big brain move. Meanwhile, a news anchor asks Choi live on air to convince Jan to rejoin the presidential race, saying even he was moved by Jan's passionate speech. Back to Jian, the security guard Cho pulls up to visit him and tells him, "I know the real reason you got discharged for real and special ops. And I know Salma's case was entirely for real and on you. If the case was in my hands, I would have cleared your name." Jian does not buy a word of it and tells him, "You would not have helped me because there was nothing in it for you." Cho offers him a job as Choi's personal bodyguard, and he already has a new identity prepped for. But Jian completely turns it down, saying he just wants to live a normal life and never pledging loyalty to anyone else ever again. Shu tries to explain that Jen actually has a solid chance of winning the presidency, which could mean a full pardon for Jian's criminal record. And together we can get payback on the people who did this to you. Jin refuses, saying, "I'm done fighting, I will delete the audio recording of Choi," then he just walks off. Later, the other main presidential candidate Park, the exact guy running against Jane, calls up to the hospital. He is the one who sent the mercs on the motorcycle to pack up Choi, and now he is showing up to visit her. Just to clear his name, reporters hound him asking if he was behind the attack on Choi. Park tells them stop making up fake news if I got into the same accident and ended up in this hospital. My popularity would spike to what happened to Choi is awful, which is why I have to check on her. After Park visits Choi and steps out of her room, he heads for the elevator. At that exact moment, Jian is in the same elevator and is completely shook when he sees Park standing right in for real front of him. Because this is the exact guy who got Salma killed, Jian instantly wants payback. Locking his eyes on one of the guard's guns, he snatches the gun and drops every single guard except Park. He aims the gun right at Park, but it turns out the whole thing was just a scenario playing out in his head. In reality, he reaches for the gun but starts tweaking out, causing his wound to tear open again. The guard shoves Jian out of the elevator. Jian is super for real frustrated that he literally had his chance for revenge. And completely choked, he keeps having flashbacks to the day Salma was murdered, seeing Park laughing. In the car, the image of Salma's dead body will not leave his head, and his thirst for revenge officially kicks back in after that. Jian heads back home and starts prepping to take down Park. He crafts a specific type of bomb, one that detonates the second its sensor gets close to it. Later, Park is getting a haircut at his usual barber, and it turns out Jian is sitting in the chair right next to him because he clearly studied Park's every move. When he notices Park is almost done, he decides to get up first. To set his plan in motion, he grabs his jacket and acts like he lost something. To distract the staff while the employee is distracted, Jian slips the sensor right into Park's jacket pocket. Then he sits in the lobby watching Park get closer to the exit doors. Jian had already planted the bomb right above the door. He is hyped, thinking his plan is about to work flawlessly. But suddenly a kid runs toward the door. Jian tries to stop him, but a guard blocks him for real. Getting near Park, luckily the kid gets stuck in the revolving door and cannot get out, so the guards tell Park to use a different exit. Park totally dodges the bomb, and Jian is somewhat devastated. He's about to dip, but the guard gets suspicious of him and wants to ask some questions. Jian notices the exact same scar on the guard's hand that he saw back when he fought the masked mercs. He instantly realizes those mercs were Park's guys. The guard gets suspicious that Jian is the same guy who completely whacked his squad. Jian punches him and says, "Yeah, that was me," and immediately bolts after taking him down, but a huge squad of guards starts chasing him. Jian drops anyone who gets in his way and keeps pushing through with his escape. When he reaches the roof, he finds the rope he had prepped beforehand, spots Shu waiting for him, slides down the rope and hops into the car with Shu. Turns out Choi is inside the car. To Shu tells Jian, "Your plan to pack up Park was top tier, but sadly it did not pull through." Jian thanks Choi for the assist, and she realizes that he still hasn't leaked the audio recording. She tells him, "Your identity has been exposed to Park's men, making it super hard for you to get your revenge now. I will help you get payback because, as you just saw, taking out Park is not easy. He's not someone you can just easily drop because he's insanely lucky, and I am 100 sure he's going to double his security now. I still do not know why you want revenge on Park, but the enemy of my enemy is my Farillian. Let's team up to take him down, and my entire security company will be at your disposal." Clearly fate brought us together. Jian buys into her logic and agrees to the team up. Because he is never going to get a better opportunity than this, he starts training and getting his fitness back up. Knowing that getting revenge on Park is not going to be a walk in the park, his identity is officially changed, and he becomes known in the security company as quote, the head trainer. Song orders quote to join the training sessions, assuming he is just a regular mule guard who needs to be trained. During sparring, Song tells Jin to attack him, but Song gets absolutely humbled by Jin's speed and skill. He tries to misdirect Jin and trip him up, but Jin effortlessly sweeps him. Instead, the trainer is totally embarrassed in for real one of the students. Realizing Jin does not need training at all, later Sho meets up with Jin and tells him you are officially joining the VIP protection squad for Choi's family. Jin agrees and walks off. But this one guard is totally hating on Jin's presence. He complains to Sho, saying none of the guards can stand Jin since he literally beat them all up. Sho hits him with a story about a hunter who got a super strong hunting dog even though he already had a bunch of dogs. The old dogs hated the new one because he was too strong, so the hunter just threw them all in together. The new dog with the old dogs would have to figure it out themselves, and eventually an alpha would emerge. And that is exactly what is going to happen with Jin and the guards. Sure enough, the guards set up an ambush for Jin in the showers, but Jin totally sees it coming and handles them. They still do not realize that Jin is a literal lethal weapon, and that he is the hunting dog who is going to end up as their alpha. Sho and the other guard watch the whole brawl go down. Sho laughs because he already knew nobody stood a chance against Jin. Later, Jin is officially introduced to all the guards, and they announce Jin discovered flaws in our security system, which is why we decided to hire him. After that, all the guards go to get briefed on their new assignments. Jin finds out his mission is to guard Rhea. Rhea has to stay locked up and completely hidden for real and depressed until the election season is over, and nobody can know she exists except for a very select few. When Rhea sees him for real and at distance, she instantly recognizes him as the guy she bumped into at the subway. Jin meets guard Mi, who is in charge of guarding Rhea during the morning shift. And this mate is the person who knows Rhea best. She tells Jin that Rhea has a ton of disorders and completely for relaxed out if the light flickers in for real one of her, which is why all the blinds in the house are always shut. If she is exposed to intense light like direct sunlight, she can actually suffer for real temporary amnesia. Because of that, she only wanders around the house at night, and her day officially starts at 9 p.m. We always search her room to make sure she does not have anything sharp. On top of all that, she has severe social anxiety and is terrified of strangers. That is why all the guards in the house keep their distance and never interact with her. Finally, Jin gets the full rundown of his mission for real and Sho. His job is to sit at the security monitors and watch Rhea. Meanwhile, Jin and Choi are attending a high society party. Choi is getting super annoyed and jealous because Jin is spending the whole time chatting up girls while she is. Park shows up and starts throwing shade at Choi, saying, "I'm surprised Jin has a wife as beautiful as you." Yet he is surrounded by all these girls. Choi claps back flawlessly, completely embarrassing him, saying that is exactly how I guarantee the women's vote for my husband in the election. He then says the world is getting super dangerous. How are you ever going to feel safe getting into a car again? She replies the same way you feel safe going to the barber. And I will find out soon enough who was trying to kill me in that car. Suddenly, Jin's side chick Pharrell on the hotel shows up. Park gets visibly nervous when he sees her. Choi tells him this girl has been working at our company for a while now. Park realizes he is completely busted and tells Choi, "Alright, we're even, let's call a truce and a ceasefire." Choi replies, "I definitely got the raw end of this deal, so it is not exactly even, but fine, I agree to the truce." Park officially realizes Choi is not someone to mess with after the party ends. Choi asks Jin to hold her hand so they can walk out and read the press together. Just to play up the image that they are always together and deeply in love, Jin pulls her in super close for the first time in his life. So much so that she's genuinely surprised because she is not used to him being this affectionate. Later on the ride home, she starts crying. Because she actually just wanted a husband who loves her as much as she loves him. Meanwhile, Jian is monitoring Rhea. He sees her sneak out of her room and head to the kitchen to cook some ramen for herself. She gets super hyped like a little kid. Jian sits back watching her super closely, but she could not figure out how to turn on the stove. She gets frustrated, grabs the pack of ramen, and leaves Jian. Someone wanted to help her and turn the stove off for her. Later, he steps outside for a smoke and spots a shadow moving on the roof. He calls me, but she is dead asleep. He starts tweaking, rushes up to the roof, but it turns out to just be Rhea. She is sitting there eating her ramen and feeding the cat with it. Jian does not approach her and just lets her vibe. She starts crying when she remembers her mom and how she used to give her the sleeping pills. Rhea feels insane guilt. Because the sleeping pills are what ultimately killed her mom, so she genuinely believes she murdered her. Jian keeps watching her as she heads back to her room. Turns out she put a pillow under the blanket, so the cameras would think she was asleep. She gets into bed and goes to sleep. Jian looks at a picture of her as a kid with her parents and deeply feels for her situation. Later, Choi gets ready to attend her late aunt's funeral. Choi is hoping to inherit her aunt's shares in her dad's company, shares worth $24 million. Dong-ji tells Choi, "You took such good care of your aunt these past few years and visited her a ton at the nursing home." Choi tells her, "I literally only did that just to secure those company shares." At the funeral, the place is heavily secured with Choi's best elite guards on standby. But according to temple traditions, it is not allowed for all these guards to go inside. Only 2 guards are permitted to enter with Choi. Cho assigns Jian and another guard to accompany Choi inside for the funeral. After Chai and Jan attend the funeral, Choi receives an invite to a private family meeting. Jian slips a pen into Choi's bag to guarantee her safety and tells her, "If you press this pen once, it starts recording everything being said. And I will be listening in on my end. If you click it twice, I will know you are in danger, and I will breach the room to pull you out." Choi then walks down a hallway packed with guards and enters the meeting room. The door gets locked behind her and she is face to face with her entire family. The lawyer tells them this briefcase holds the deceased's will, but I do not have the key to open it. Because she entrusted the key to one of you, it turns out Choi is the one holding the key. The lawyer opens the briefcase, reads the will, and reveals that the aunt left her entire fortune and company shares to Choi. Everyone is totally shook. Choi starts feeling uneasy around them and clicks the pen once so Jian can listen in on what is being said. Her family members tell her, "You cannot just take all of this for yourself. You already own the security company." Choi's uncle offers to buy out all her inherited company shares, offering her triple their actual value. Jan chimes in and says that is an incredible offer. And I agree to it because that money will massively fund my election campaign. Turns out Jan was secretly plotting with Choi's uncle. The uncle tells Jan will help secure your seat as president, but Choi completely refuses to. She gets pissed, accidentally drops the pen, and her brother ends up pressing it. Jian is confused, trying to figure out if that counts as the second click or not. He wonders, does she actually need me? Or did she just turn the pen off because they're about to discuss classified secrets? Jan and the uncle are thinking they have totally cornered Choi, believing she has literally no other option but to sell her company shares, but Choi mocks them and hits back, "This was literally my dad's company to begin with. And my mom and I built it for real in the ground up." She keeps eyeing the pen, desperately wanting to summon Jian, and tries calling him, but she has zero signal in there. At that exact moment, Jian actually senses she is in danger, grabs an umbrella, and heads inside. Choi's stepmom hits back, saying, "Your dad never actually put the company in your name because he never loved you and did not trust you. We all see right through your shady game." You just wanted to push your husband into the presidency so you could use his power to take your dad's company. Chai is literally on the verge of tears for real her words. Meanwhile, Jian drops in on the guards outside and completely obliterates them all. Not a single one of them manages to land a hit on him. After he clears them out, he literally sets a fire to trigger the fire alarm. The sprinklers go off and the entire family panics and runs out. Jian pops open the umbrella overjoyed and escorts her out of there safely. She's wondering, how did Jian know I needed him right then, even though I did not click the pen twice? None of my guards have ever made a move without my direct orders. But Jian is literally built different. I have never met anyone like him. When she walks out, she does not say a single word to her family. She tells Jane find another car and some other guards to take you home. On the ride back, she starts crying and tells Jian never make another move like that again without my permission. For real, on that day on, Choi starts trusting Jian blindly. The next day, Jian is on his shift monitoring Rhea. He watches her walk into the kitchen and she gets super hyped seeing that the water is already heated up. Turns out Jian is the one who heated the water for her so she could just make her ramen and eat instantly. She is so happy making her ramen, and Jian feels good knowing he made her night just watching her eat. Later he steps outside for a smoke and guard Mi comes out to meet him. She apologizes for not answering his call last night because she was asleep. She is somewhat trying to flirt with Jian and show she is into him. But Jian is completely oblivious and not catching any feelings. She steps closer to him, but he just pulls back and starts asking about Rhea. Mi tells him she was always trying to run away just to see her dad, but Jian does not care about her at all. Jian actually feels bad hearing that they get interrupted by a call for Rylan, the security company, telling Jian to come in immediately. While Mi covers his night shift, Jian pulls up to the company building and heads straight to the 9th floor. This is the most critical floor in the entire company, and very few people ever get access to it. Because it is basically the company's secret headquarters, Jian scans his fingerprint and his eye just to get inside. After Choi finishes up a meeting with her assistants, it is Jian's turn. She tells him this room is the most secure place in the entire building, and this glass is totally. She then says, I want to know the real reason behind your beef with Park. Honestly, I am just curious about your whole deal. But Jian is super closed off and does not just open up easily. So she tells him this place runs on an AI system called the Mirror. The Mirror is literally the mastermind behind my company. It holds basically all the data in the world and gives me solutions for literally everything. You can try it out and ask the Mirror any question you want. Jian asks her what makes you think I'd even have any questions. She replies, if you did not have questions, you would not have joined me. You still have no idea how to get your revenge on Park, so Jian finally decides to drop the whole story. He tells her that 5 years ago he was in love with an Iraqi girl named Salma who worked as a translator. She was translating for an arms deal between Park and an Iraqi mobster. Park ordered a hit on Salma because she knew way too much about the deal, and then they completely for real on me for her murder. That is exactly why I want to pack up. Park Choi is genuinely moved by his story and completely understands his motive now. Meanwhile, Rhea is watching her dad on TV. And she finds out for real on the news that Jan is going to be at church tomorrow. An idea hits Rhea. She decides she is going to pull up to the church to meet her dad. She starts plotting how to get past the guards. Sneaks down to the ground floor quietly and spots Mi sitting there eating and watching TV. Rhea quickly slips into Mi's room and steals her egg-card wallet with cash and some tranquilizer shots when Mi heads to the bathroom. Rhea spikes Mi's string with the tranquilizer and then sneaks out of the house wearing Mi's clothes. A guard spots her and talks to her through the earpiece, assuming she is Mi, and asks her where she is going. She keeps her cool and says just running to the supermarket. She keeps walking and completely avoids causing any suspicion. She hops in a cab heading to her old neighborhood, feeling genuine for Riyadh for the first time in years. Mia's knocked out cold and totally clueless. Ria reaches the spot and stares at her old house. Crying as she remembers all the memories with her mom, she feels super heartbroken when she sees a little girl walking with her mom. At the same time Jian heads back to work, the guard assumes Mi went out and just hasn't come back yet. But when Jian walks in, he finds Mi passed out and realizes Ria has escaped. Joe and Good completely start tweaking. Mi gets a notification that Ria used her credit card to pay for the cab, which means they can literally track exactly where the cab dropped Ria off. Meanwhile, Ria feels like this photo studio looks super familiar, and she spots a picture of herself as a kid with her mom displayed in the window. Turns out Ria used to get her pictures taken at this exact studio. She walks in and asks the owner about the picture in the display window. The owner recognizes her and hands her the full original picture, which actually has a third person in it. That person is Ria's old nanny. She finds out for Ria, the owner, that the nanny is currently living in a nursing home. So Ria hops in another cab and pulls up to the nursing home to meet her, trying to jog her memory. When the nanny finally remembers her, she tells her you need to run away for Ria Joy immediately and go to America, but the nanny has Alzheimer's and is forgetting a lot of things. Ria wants to ask her so many questions. But at that exact moment, Ji and Joy and the guards pull up to the hospital. Ria hears them talking on their earpieces as they search for her, but they totally miss her. Jan calls Joe and orders him to make absolutely sure Ria does not show up at the church. Ria slips right past them wearing a nurse uniform without them noticing. Later, Jan and Choi arrive at the church and purposefully help an old lady who is struggling to walk just for the prayer, so people will admire them and think they are super wholesome. The place is heavily secured and they're hyper vigilant to make sure Ria does not show up, but Ria completely blindsides everyone. Impulsive, dressed as a nun, her dad spots her and recognizes her, instantly stressing out that the press will find out he has a daughter. He whispers to Joy that Ria is here, and Joy immediately alerts the guards that Ria is hiding among the nuns. But the church is packed and any aggressive move will look superstitious. The nuns finish their hymn and all start walking away. Except for Ria, she just stands there staring at her dad, and everyone is terrified she's going to do something crazy. Chan stops the guards for Ria. Rushing in, Ria starts singing a solo hymn while crying. And Jan literally cannot even look at her. After she finishes, she walks off to join the nuns. Jean rushes out after her but realizes she is already gone, leaving behind a note addressed to her dad. It says, "Come get me, you already know where I will be." Choi tells him, "You cannot go to Riyadh yourself." He replies, "I do not even know where she is waiting for me anyway." Choi tells him, "I actually feel bad for that girl because she is waiting on a dad like you to show up." The guards have zero clue where she could be. Gok orders his men to scan every single camera in the city. Turns out Ria is at this exact amusement park because her dad used to take her there when she was a kid, which is why she wrote, "Only you will know where I am." Years ago, her dad told her, "If we ever get separated, wait for me in the exact spot you got lost. No matter how scared you are, just hold on and wait for me. And I promise I will come get you." Ria kept that memory locked in perfectly. Later, two people are taking a selfie right in for real of her, and Ria accidentally photobombs it when they post it online. Good manages to track her exact location. Using their ad system, Ria closes her eyes praying her dad shows up. But when she opens them, she sees Jin standing right in for real of her holding a strawberry ice cream. He completely lies to her, saying, "Your dad sent me to get you. He is the one who told me you were here." Ria is super crushed because she genuinely wanted her dad to pull up himself. She asks him, "Did my dad really send the strawberry ice cream?" Jian confidently says, "Yeah, for sure." But Jian did not know Ria is lethally allergic to strawberries. Ria thinks her dad is mad at her and sent the strawberries on purpose, so she starts eating the ice cream while looking devastated. She tells Jian, "I did not out myself as Jen's daughter to everyone, because I felt like it would put him in danger and make people hate him." Suddenly she starts struggling to breathe and completely passes out for real. The allergic reaction Jen totally for real leaks out. The maid tells them over the comms that Rhea will literally die if she eats strawberries. Jian is forced to perform mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to keep her airway open, and all the guards are stressing out of their minds. Sho says we cannot take her to a public hospital or her identity will be completely exposed. So Jian throws her in a car and drives like an absolute maniac to save Rhea. Brings her to the security company's medical bay to be treated. Jian is completely stressed out, overthinking, and consumed by guilt, knowing she might literally die because getting the ice cream was his idea. After a while, Rhea finally wakes up. She learns from Realm the doctor that Jian is the one who brought her there, and if it was not for him, she would be dead. She looks at Jian completely shocked by what he did. The doctor tells Jian that Rhea is recovering, but her mental health is in a super bad place and it is taking a toll on her physically. Jian blows up at Sho for not calling a real ambulance, saying the girl could have literally died. Sho does not even care and hits back, if she died, it would have been better for everyone anyway. Rather than having one of Jen's enemies use her against him, plus she ate the strawberries knowing what would happen, she wanted to die. When Jen found out what happened, he did not even say a word, so yeah, it would have been better if she just died. Her situation is not going to change no matter what, and if she went to a public hospital, Jen's career would have been ruined. He then orders Jin to leave. Later, Jin sits down with trainer Song, and Song explains the real deal to him. He tells him Rhea's mom traveled to America after marrying Jang, and that is when she got pregnant with Rhea. After a while, she came back to Korea with Rhea. Jang instantly assumed Rhea was not his kid, and that she belonged to the guy her mom married in America. Even today, he still has doubts about whether she is actually his daughter, which is exactly why he treats her like garbage. And then Rhea's mom just suddenly died under super sketchy circumstances. Meanwhile, Choi finds out Rhea survived. Even though she somewhat hoped she would not, she decides to go confront her alone. She tells her, "You probably think I am the one trying to stop you. For real, I'm seeing your dad. But that is not true. Your dad is the one who does not want to see you. You saw the way he looked at you in the church. He is never going to come check on you. He literally did not show up or care when your mom died. I know you are shocked right now, but that is just the harsh truth. And honestly, I feel for you because my dad was exactly like that. Daughters just want to feel loved by their dads, but all fathers are the same. They never care about us. To him, you are just a tiny annoying piece of his past, and you mean literally nothing to him." Rhea is deeply hurt and completely shook, but she still has a sliver of doubt that Choi is just manipulating her. She fires back, "Let my dad come here and I will ask him myself." Choi heads back. "How am I supposed to drag him here when he literally does not even want to come? Just accept it. He does not want you in his life." Brutal truth is he is incredibly selfish and only cares about the election, but Rhea tries to trigger her, saying, "Well, my dad does not love you either," but Choi does not even flinch because she already knows that. She replies, "That is what your mom told you, but she was literally an alcoholic. And you're the one who killed her when you gave her those sleeping pills." Rhea shoots back, "I did not kill her. There was some creepy guy in the house and he tried to kill me too." Joy completely gaslights her, saying, "Your memories are playing tricks on you. You killed your mom, and that is the absolute truth." Jin was listening to their entire argument through his earpiece. He steps in and tells Choi that is enough. Choi just scoffs and walks away. Jin calms Rhea down and promises her, "I will bring your dad to you later." The two girls who took a selfie in for real and of Rhea suddenly realized that Rhea is the exact same girl who got photographed by the world-famous fashion designer Paul. They get super hyped that they accidentally took a picture with a celebrity and they decide to post it online. Meanwhile, Jen is getting ready to give a lecture to a bunch of youth. A makeup artist is touching him up. And Jen clearly likes her vibe, giving her a wink before stepping out to give his speech. Jen is on standby and spots some suspicious people in the crowd. He instantly feels like Jen is and stays super vigilant. When someone suddenly jumps out of their seat, Jen immediately tackles him. But it turns out to just be another guard and one of Jen's colleagues. Then a bunch of protesters start throwing eggs at Jen, shouting that they refuse to let him become president, even though Jen is visibly annoyed. He plays it cool and says everyone has the right to express their opinion. They have trusted politicians for so long, only to be let down. I will not stop fighting just because I got eggs thrown at me. If these protesters actually wanted to kill me, they would have thrown rocks, but they threw eggs because deep down they still love me and have some faith in me. I need to wake up and actually deliver what these people are asking for. The entire crowd erupts in applause as usual. Jen perfectly milks the situation, flipping it entirely in his favor like a genius. Jen goes on and says he is going to let the feds search his house, his office, and all his assets. Cause if they find anything that ruins my rep, I'm dropping out of the election right away. And the crowd hypes him up again. They chant Jen's name after he wraps up the lecture. It turns out the whole throwing eggs at him thing was actually his own idea, so he could drop the hype speech right after. Basically, this whole thing was a stunt by Jen to win over the public. He tells all the guards to bounce for now, then he heads back to his room to hook up with the makeup artist. Little did he know this girl was also a trap set up by Park. Jen goes in to take a shower. The girl opens the door and grabs a sedative syringe for Willem. That guard planning to inject Jen so the cops can pull up and catch him in a whole scandal. But Jen saw the whole thing. He knocks out the girl and rushes into the bathroom to get Jen, telling him they got to move right now. He fills him in and ran to the cops raid the spot. But Jen already grabbed Jen and made a run for it. He tells Joe and his crew to stall the cops while they hop in the wet and kill out Jen. Thanks Jen, saying if it were not for him he would be in deep trouble. Jen tells him, I am taking you to see your daughter right now. Jen is shook and yells to stop the car. Jen's like, even if you do not want to see her, go tell her that to her face. Instead of letting her hold on to false hope, she is your daughter and she is your responsibility until you die. How can you not stand your own kid? She told me today at the park that she was worried sick about you and did not want to show up just so she would not cause any drama for you. She even tried to off herself today because she felt like a massive burden. Jen feels guilty as hell and decides to see her. He asks Jen to protect Rhea no matter what, and Jen agrees. Jen realizes he has been power hungry, only looking out for himself, and that greed cost him his conscience and the people he cares about. He says I cannot protect her unless I secure that power. If I keep acting like I do not care about Rhea, Choi's going to think she means nothing to me and might actually kill her. But if Choi figures out Rhea is important to me, she will hide her for real and me forever. That is exactly why I did not want to come see her. But it is what it is. He tells Jen, I need you to keep your promise and protect Rhea. Then he heads into the company building. Meanwhile, Joy finds out Jen is going to see his daughter, so she starts watching and through the security cameras to hear what he is going to tell her. Jen keeps talking to Rhea, but she is totally faking being asleep. Jen acts like he had no clue she was allergic to strawberries and yells at everyone for failing to take care of her. He fakes being super upset and kicks everyone out of the room. Right after that, Rhea drops the app, hugs him, and says, I missed you so much. He tells her, I missed you too. I just need you to hold on until I become the president of Korea, so you can finally live a normal life. She tells him, my mom did not kill herself. I walked into her room and saw someone there and know for a fact Joy murdered her. Jen tells her that was a long time ago. You cannot just go around saying stuff like that. 'cause it would totally ruin my career and you obviously do not want your dad getting into trouble. She tries to speak up, but he just shuts her down while she keeps asking him a bunch of questions. But he keeps brushing it off, telling her to forget the past. She gets super frustrated and starts crying. He tells her right now, I'm dealing with major issues for the whole country. So I really do not have time to stress over these little things. Ria is completely shell-shocked. She realizes Cho was right all along. She really means nothing to him. She rolls over and goes to sleep, absolutely heartbroken and disappointed, feeling like she really is just a massive burden to her dad.